All right, so I'm going live. Cold open. 1, 2. Testing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Xbox live presentation happening in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Welcome to the stream. Welcome. I didn't do a countdown, just went live straight to the live thingy because that's what I did. Welcome to the stream, guys. Welcome to the stream where we are reacting to the Xbox Live presentation to see how this influences Nintendo and Nintendo's future. Will Nintendo get many games added to Nintendo Switch? Will Game Pass be added to Nintendo Switch? Who knows? Will Xbox go third party and just focus on providing games for every thingy, every place, besides besides Xbox here. So thank you guys for being here for this impromptu live.
Let me
appreciate it. Let me go ahead and all right, perfect. So the Xbox presentation is happening soon. This is an impromptu live. Thank you guys so much for being here. You guys are super awesome. Down below, let me know in the comments in the chat, where do you think Xbox is heading today, right? It's happening in about 2 minutes. I don't know where it's going to be on the Xbox live stream, I'm guessing, right? Xbox, does anybody know where the Xbox podcast is being held? Because right now, the Xbox YouTube channel is there's nothing there. There's nothing scheduled. A video that's scheduled for release today. On their Twitter account, there's also nothing there either. It says here February 15 at 3 p.m. Eastern time. We are there at youtube.com/Xbox. That's where I am. So I'm guessing it's going to be a shadow drop. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here so that we can go ahead and then wait for it, because it looks like it's going to be a shadow drop video from Xbox. Sharing my screen. Okay, let's go here. Home. I'm going to go over to the home page of Xbox. Should be available anytime soon. For the Xbox presentation. Who knows what's going to happen today, guys? But it's going to be a big influence on Nintendo, and we want to know about it, right? And the rest of the gaming industry as well, PlayStation as well. We want to know exactly what's going to happen with Xbox and their presentation today, and that's why I'm live streaming it. Going here, okay, yeah, you can have it right there. Perfect. All right, so I have it right there. So far, so good. It is already 3 o'clock. And let me refresh the page to make sure that they have it here. Nothing just yet. But we are waiting for Xbox to show up and issue a presentation or a live event, but there's nothing just yet added to it. We are here at youtube.com/Xbox, their website, their YouTube channel, waiting for the Xbox presentation to wait. And the biggest question is, how will this influence the world of Nintendo and, of course, the rest of the gaming industry with what they are about to announce, right? Phil Spencer is going to go and take the mic and tell us about the future of Xbox and their games. Will they go third party? Will Xbox, the console itself, be impacted by it? What's happening with Game Pass and with a lot more? So right now, we are waiting for Xbox to drop the video. It's probably gonna be a video. Let's see here. There's no podcast cast on their YouTube page. It is a podcast episode, a special edition of them. We don't know whether it's gonna be live or not, but that's all we have right now. I'm also on the YouTube, on their Twitter account, and so far there has been nothing added to their Twitter account regarding today's event, right? There's nothing added here, but we're keeping a close eye on it, and then we're going to be reacting very soon to it. Let me go to the chat here. How's everyone doing in the chat? Hello. Welcome, guys, to the chat. I appreciate you all being here. We are reacting to Xbox announcement right here, right? So I am live. They said it was going to be at Xbox YouTube channel. We are there right now. I have a tab open for the Xbox YouTube channel. I'm refreshing their page because apparently it starts now at 3 o'clock. Their presentation, but there is nothing here scheduled or posted just yet. The videos are not in there. Okay, here we have it. there we have it. We got the podcast right here. Let me go ahead and pause it and let's go ahead and react to it because it is time. Let me turn on the podcast background music and let's see what Xbox has in store for us. We've just got it right here. Let's go ahead and play it and react together. Who is ready for this? Because I'm ready and nervous at the same time. Let's do this.
Hello and welcome to the official Xbox podcast. I'm your host, Tina Amini, and we have a very special episode today, as you can probably tell by the fact that I'm joined by Phil, Sarah, and Matt. Welcome. And we're going to talk about some updates at Xbox. We want to talk about game exclusivity. We want to talk about Activision Blizzard now that they're part of our portfolio, how that might be an impact on Game Pass. And we want to talk about hardware too and how all of this fits into the strategy at Xbox. So where should we start, Phil?
Well, when we originally had planned for the show, starting back in December, I think we probably would have started with Activision Blizzard, maybe talked a little bit about the exclusivity with some of the news coming up, and then hardware. But we've had some unforeseen news that has come out. So let's just go and tackle the exclusivity question, because I know it's on the minds of a lot of people. We hear from the community, and that's an important input for us. So we made the decision that we're going to take 4 games to the other consoles, just 4 games.
Okay.
Not a change to our kind of fundamental exclusive strategy. We're making these decisions for some specific reasons.
That's good news.
We make every decision really with the long-term health of Xbox in mind. And long-term health of Xbox means a growing platform, our games performing, building the best platform for creators, reaching as many players as we can. We're always looking to learn as a leadership team and to grow. And we think this is an interesting point in time for us to use what some of the other platforms have right now to help grow our franchises. So we're going to do that.
That's
so
good.
These 4 titles, what are they? Can you say?
I'm not going to name those games. The teams that are building those games have announced plans that are not too far away. As we know, game teams put a lot of energy into their announcements with the partners. So I don't want to take anything away from those teams. So I won't be talking about the titles specifically, but I think when they come out, it'll make sense.
Can we say if either of those titles are Starfield or Indiana Jones?
They are not Starfield or Indiana Jones.
Well, what was the criteria and how the team was thinking about selecting those 4 titles?
Let me start a little bit outside of that, and then I'll get to the 4 specific games that we're talking about right now. Because the fundamental decision driver for any decision that we make, anything we're going to talk about today, is the long-term health of Xbox. That we're running a growing platform that is reaching more players, that our games are having as much success as possible. And I do have a fundamental belief that over the next 5 or 10 years, exclusive games that are exclusive to one piece of hardware, are going to be a smaller and smaller part of the game industry. And that's not some great insight, because if you look at the last 10 years and what the biggest games are today, it's a natural place. Whether it's one console and PC, multiple consoles, mobile console and PC, you see big games landing on multiple platforms. And we want to be a great platform for creators that are trying to realize that potential. But now back to the specifics of the question on these four specific titles. We looked at games that are over a year old. So they've been on Xbox and PC for a while.
Not new.
A couple of the games are community-driven games, new games that kind of first iterations of a franchise that have reached their full potential, I'd say, on Xbox and PC. There's always growth. Franchises that we obviously want to continue to invest in. Part of having the ability to continue to invest is that the businesses behind those franchises continue. We think it's important that these service-based games that have communities behind them, that they can have confidence that they're going to exist in the future. So 2 of them, kind of community-driven games that will end up on other platforms and give us the ability to continue to invest in them. We think that's great for the business and great for the communities, more players to play with. I'd say 2 of the other games are smaller games that were never really meant to be built as kind of platform exclusives and all the fanfare that goes around that. But games that our teams really wanted to go build, that we love supporting creative endeavors across our studios, regardless of size. And as they've realized their full potential on Xbox and PC, we see an opportunity to utilize the other platforms as a place to just drive more business value out of those games, allowing us to invest in maybe future iterations of those, so sequels to those, or just other games like that in our portfolio. And when we don't damage Xbox and we can grow our business using what other platforms have and to help us with that, we're going to do that. And that's really the story behind these 4 games. And last thing I'll say, looking forward, I think there is an interesting story for us of introducing Xbox franchises to players on other platforms to get them more interested in Xbox. We think there's a good brand value for Xbox there. So 4 games, no promise beyond that. So if you're on those other platforms and you see these 4 games coming, please don't take it as some signal that everything's coming. It's not. And we're going to learn.
So when you are thinking about the future and this concept of live service games, games that can benefit from bigger audiences, new audiences, how does that apply to future titles and how you're applying that criteria there?
Halo's
there's really no fundamental change to how we think about exclusivity. We just came out of Developer Direct, which was an awesome show where we showed great games that are coming to Xbox and PC and cloud, which really makes them accessible to hundreds of millions of people. So it's this kind of, we're really focused on a couple platforms and what's going to show up there. But our key of play the games you want with the people you want, anywhere you want, when everybody plays, we all win. These have been part of our strategy for years and will continue to be. Our focus is on how do we continue to grow the games industry by reaching more players in more places, and how do we grow Xbox as part of that. Xbox is a hardware platform, Xbox is a publisher of great games, and Xbox as a platform for the world's best creators.
And then knowing that, how do we think about our first-party games and Game Pass?
Yeah, well, to build on what Phil just said, one thing I would add, as you were talking about growth, is just that we've sort of seen this inversion over the last 5 years where it used to be that the platform was the biggest thing.
That's right.
And the games would sort of tuck in within the platform. Today, big games like a Roblox or a Fortnite could actually be bigger than any one platform. And that really has changed the way that we think about things. So in the midst of all that, I think we at First Party can come back to sort of some core principles. First, that all of our games will be on the Xbox platform. Second, all of our games will go into Game Pass on day 1. And third, we know that Game Pass will only be available on Xbox. So there's sort of starting points for us. As Phil mentioned, there are games today that you can play that only can be found on Xbox. And at the same time, we want to bring more of our games to more players. So we're going to continue to look at that. Kind of moving aside, though, from some of those and thinking more about what does it really mean for the player, to me, the 2 key things are cross-play and cross-save. Those things allow us to deliver on the promise of Xbox, which is play with your friends where they are, play on the devices you want, play the games you want. So that is really only possible at a practical level when you know that your saves and your player are going to be able to move across all those parts. So not all of our games today are necessarily built to take advantage of that. There still will be some games that don't. As we bring more teams into the Xbox family, there's some catch up to do as we get there. But that cross-play, cross-save is like so fundamental to what we're doing. And I think is something that we as First Party get such a good benefit from being so close to the platform.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the things, like you said, all of our games are always in Game Pass. And so I'm excited to announce, with the coming together that we had with Activision Blizzard King, that Activision and Blizzard games are coming to Game Pass, starting with Diablo 4 on March 28th, which I'm super, super excited to share today. And it's all part of our commitment to make the Xbox experience and the games that we build as widely available as possible. So now the 34 million Game Pass members can all enjoy the fantastic experience of Diablo 4.
Amazing. Can we come back to the point, Phil, you mentioned at the top, this isn't really a change in strategy for us. Can you recap for me how it isn't?
Yeah. And I thought both Matt and Sarah did a really nice job of talking about what we're doing on Xbox, where we're going. If you take a platform feature like Xbox Play Anywhere, which has been a promise that we've made on our first party games, that you can buy our game once, you're going to get play across Xbox and Windows. I think we're the only platform that does this. That makes it possible for you not only to play with your friends wherever they are, but to know that you actually have multiple entitlements to the games. I think that's a technology I would love to see applied to more platforms. But it is this view that people are going to play Xbox in multiple places.
Mhm.
Whether it's play the games you want with the people you want, anywhere you want, whether it's content community and cloud, whether
Yep.
it's when everybody plays, we all win. Like we've had different taglines, different strategy, kind of words that we've used, but always with this view that Xbox is a platform for creators who want to reach the most players. Our investments in xCloud, our investments in franchises like Minecraft and now Call of Duty and other large franchises so that we learn how to build those. This has been a strategy that we've been on for, I'd say, a decade. It's not about one device. It's not about games in service of a device, but rather the devices that people want to play on should be in service of making the games as big and popular as they possibly could be. Because really a healthy creator community on Xbox, a healthy creator community in gaming all up is the thing that all of us as game players should be voting for, because that's the thing that will lead to the best long-term success and growth in this industry.
And my understanding, just from listening and learning from you three over the past few weeks, just understanding what's happening with Xbox, is that we see trends with player behavior where people are playing on multiple devices. That is the reality. And we have put some games out on multiple platforms before. So my understanding is that that's been good for players. How does that come back to the business with all of that in mind?
Yeah, as you said, we have shipped games on other platforms. In fact, realistically, if you look with the addition of Activision and Blizzard and ZeniMax, we're one of the largest game publishers on PlayStation. We're one of the largest publishers on the Nintendo Switch, especially when you put Minecraft into the equation as well. And now we're one of the largest publishers on mobile platforms as well. And that's not something that we want to back away from. We want to continue to be building great games that millions and millions of people can love, and that they can play those games where they want to go play. But we do understand the business success that Xbox has to have. Us as leaders in this business, the system today, the system that all companies that we play video games from, is a world of you got to be growing your business. Growth in our Xbox business is critical to the long-term health of Xbox. Many people know I've been on Xbox for over 20 years. And I want to make sure Xbox is in the best position for the next 20 years. That means healthy player community, healthy creator community, and healthy business. So when we look at opportunities to allow more people to play, more people engage, more people to buy, more people to subscribe, it's all about putting Xbox in the best position. And our hardware is a critical component of that. The absolute best experience somebody has on Xbox is hardware that your team builds and that people play on. But that's not going to be everybody. We fully accepted that we're going to have Xbox players across all kinds of devices.
So I think a lot of people think about 2023 as this incredible year for gaming. And in a lot of ways it was. There were some really amazing releases that I think we all enjoyed. But what were the signals behind the scenes that maybe indicated how we wanted to look at the future of Xbox and how we kind of keep up with the industry?
Yeah, such a good question. And I think it's, as people who care about the industry, which I assume is people who are watching this, it was an amazing year. Some great launches, some of the games that I think will stand the test of time and people will be talking about a decade from now. But it's an industry that didn't really grow. And what happens when an industry doesn't grow? You end up with some job eliminations, which we had. We had even our own hard decisions to make about building a sustainable business for ourselves, but in no way were we alone in that. When you think about a healthy industry, I want players who believe that they will find the best games on the platforms that they love. I want people who invest their careers in working here to feel like this is a place that they can be successful. And that really is down to being part of an industry that is growing. If you listen to Lisa Su, the AMD CEO, she'll say that AMD-powered consoles are likely to decline in 2024. I think there's an amazing set of games coming in 2024, but if we don't get to growing as an industry, the industry will struggle. And today there's really two choices on how do you grow the industry. Do you say I have a fixed number of players, the players that we have today, and do I find new ways to monetize those players to get more money from the players that I have? Or do you think about how do I expand the business I have by finding new players and adding those to the base of players that already play? Our focus on Xbox for the last decade has really been on that latter point of how do we make sure Xbox is growing for our players, growing for our creators. So those people are finding success on our platform, which will grow the Xbox business and put Xbox in a position to be very strong for years and decades to come.
Matt, earlier you were talking about these growing gaming communities, how they're incredibly large, and comparable on such a different level when we think about console audiences. Like you mentioned Roblox, you mentioned Fortnite. So how are we're obviously thinking about our responsibility, our hardware responsibility is supporting the growth of gaming communities. How has that actually shown up for the players? Are there other games we can speak to from our portfolio?
Well, as Phil mentioned, I mean, two of the biggest ones for us, Call of Duty and Minecraft, I mean, they are driven just from the bottom up by the communities of people that play those games, which is so great. I think about it, for the player community, it comes down to where are the friends, where are the people you play with, and then equally important is where have you built up your library of games, right? Where have you invested? Where's that library? I think those two things probably are some of the biggest influences on where people choose to play and what devices they choose to play.
Yeah.
When we think about, on the other side, the developer side, just any game developer wants their game to find the biggest audience possible. That's just the nature of building a game. You want people to enjoy and participate in what you've made. And I think we're in a unique position to deliver on that, just because we are the platform. We build hardware, we've got a first-party games group, and then we've got a system that ties that together, that brings together your friends, your progression, your achievements, all of that. And I think that's really what has contributed to the momentum behind some of these communities.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you look at, just step back and you look at the history of the industry, we've moved from a place where it used to be that someone built and launched a game to accelerate hardware, to actually the things we do with our hardware and with our platform are all in service of making those games bigger. And we think about that across all of the investments we make, the consoles we build, the investments we do with things like cross-play, cross-progression, the things that we're doing with cloud. How do we actually give more options to game creators so they can have the greatest success? I think one of the fun recent examples about this is actually Palworld. Palworld was able to launch, they were a game preview, they launched in Game Pass, they also simultaneously launched in Steam. And through the combination of those things, Pocket Pair was able to have this outsized success. And it was the largest third-party Game Pass launch ever. And that's all because we give creators options on how they can launch their games. We've got subscription, we've got retail, we've got free-to-play, we've got game preview, we have the consoles, we have our experience on PC, and they can access all of those things. And when we step back and we just look at the performance of our platform all up, we know it's working. We're at the highest level of users on console, the highest level of users on PC, the highest level of users on cloud ever. We have double-digit growth rate on PC and cloud, places where we're enabling creators to actually reach new players beyond the console ecosystem. And that's why we're leaning into it and doing more, because we see all those signals.
So we're talking about the role that hardware plays for creators, for the games and those communities. What about the role that hardware plays for us as a business, for Xbox?
When we look at our hardware, it really is, and Phil said this earlier, it's where you get like the most flagship seminal experience of Xbox. And it also represents a developer target. Our developers can build the specs of our hardware, and we invest to make sure they know when they do that the games are going to run great on our hardware, but they're also going to be able to be accessed across any screen because of all the other investments we make. So we're giving them an easy way to access as many players as possible. And we actually have more creators right now building for Xbox than ever before by nature, thousands of them by nature of those investments. And we got more to come. There's some exciting stuff coming out in hardware that we're going to share this holiday. And we're also invested in the next generation roadmap. And what we're really focused on there is delivering the largest technical leap you will have ever seen in a hardware generation.
More hardware coming this holiday.
Better for players and better for creators and the visions that they're building.
And then when we're talking about hardware too, there's these other considerations that are really important to our community, probably to each one of ourselves as well. When you talk about library, because I want to dig in on that a little bit more, as we talk about cloud in the wider entertainment industry, there's conversations about streaming. How is that impacting how I own my content that I've invested in? So what can we say about our stance around game preservation?
Yeah, one of the highlights for me of being in this position was getting to stand on stage when we announced back compat coming to Xbox One. Like, it was fantastic. People were reading the teleprompter before I could read it. Slow reader, and just feeling the energy in the auditorium as we were saying that, and online. One of the cues I think us as being part of Microsoft take is looking at Windows. and how Windows over decades has maintained software compatibility with things that are built on it. Like I can still go back and play some of the games that I love playing on Windows from decades ago, and it will still run. And we try to bring that same view to consoles. It's harder in console because the line between what the hardware is and what the game is in consoles is traditionally it's tighter, which makes compatibility, you end up doing these generational compatibilities that we've built. But I will say compatibility, the ability to not only play the games, but my saves are still there with our cloud save systems to try to keep the services up as long as we can so that people can play, is a tenet of what we are as Xbox. It's at our foundation. And when we look at future hardware generations and what we're going to support, making sure that we respect, which is the word I use, respect the investments that people have made in Xbox going forward is fundamental. And the fact that you get entitlements when you buy a game from us on both Windows and Xbox also means you have the ability to play that game across a multitude of devices, which I think furthers the compatibility of the games that you own.
Can we go back to what Xbox stands for today? I think we've pretty much covered all of the elements, but if you could break it down for me.
You know, when you play on Xbox, what we're saying is you're playing on a platform where you know the biggest games in the world are always going to be. You're playing on a platform where you get to access Game Pass. And all of the games from our incredible range of studios will always launch in Game Pass day one. And you're playing on a platform that's dedicated to you, like player-first features, cross-play, cross-save, cross-progression, backwards compatibility, being able to play your games in your library anywhere you want because of the investments that we make in cloud gaming. And so you're playing somewhere where you're investing and you know you get to take the games forward with you and across all of the screens where you are. And I think most importantly, Xbox is a place where you know when you're investing in Xbox, you're investing somewhere that is dedicated to making games more successful and creators more successful so that they can invest more to bring even better experiences to you all of the time.
Yeah, just that investment in the studios is so, and we feel that as part of first party with the platform proximity. You know, it's kind of amazing now to look out across all the studios we've got and just be reminded that we're now one of the biggest development organizations in the industry. What does that mean for players? It means that the biggest games are going to continue to come to Xbox. And this 2024, the year coming up, we've got more than 10 major releases coming up. Great stuff. Hellblade 2. We've got Diablo expansion. We've got Avowed, Ara, the Indiana Jones game. And there's more in development, which I think we're going to be able to share more about at our June showcase coming up.
Ooh, Switch
well, I guess
2.
I should get ready
Switch
to work on
2.
that show.
More
Well,
in
thank
June.
you all for showing up on the podcast today, and we'll see the rest of you this June.
Thanks, Tina.
Thank you.
All right, my friends. So I have some takeaways from today's event. I'm taking some notes throughout the way, and you're seeing it down below on the ticker right now. So every important thing that was said. Let me go ahead and pause this real quick here. Pausing it. Pause. All right, T. Let's go ahead and just keep this here. Hey, then topic in something podcast. All right, so I'll say Nintendo. The Xbox podcast just aired right now, and I have the biggest takeaways are down in the ticker right now as we discuss this and take questions from you guys. I see already some questions in the chat. You guys go ahead and ask questions because I have some notes that I've taken. Maybe these notes that I've taken can answer your question regarding what was said in the Game Pass thingamajig thingy. So far, one of the biggest takeaways from the Game Pass thing is no, Xbox is not going third party. Okay, Xbox is not going third party. They will stay with their exclusives. And when it comes to the games that are going third party, they are only talking about community-driven games. Okay, community-driven games. Only community-driven games that they have on their platform. First-party ones are going third party. So if there is any games that you have in mind that are only available on Xbox and are community driven, then those games have a potential of going Xbox, going third party. Let me go ahead and just kind of fix this here real quick. Dude, maybe this one. There we go. Okay, so yeah, we just went over the Xbox official podcast, right? And we got some takeaways from the presentation going down in the right now in the ticker. If you have any questions regarding that, I also have some notes back here that kind of basically the most important things to take away from this Xbox podcast. Number one, Xbox not going fully third party. That is good news because that keeps the platform alive, right? I mean, you want Xbox to stick around with their Xbox consoles because that means there's more competition between platforms and better quality games. The less competition we have, the more developers on a single platform will slack off, right? They have nothing to compete against and nothing to kind of better or improve their games upon. Like Nintendo with Nintendo NSO, that we want eventually we want NSO to kind of mimic Game Pass in a way that of the backwards compatibility, right? Game Pass, I think the only flaw that Game Pass has is that some of the games are available day one, which I think it should be maybe further into the line. That way it'll allow people to kind of purchase the game and it'll give the game more sales, right? The one thing I love about Game Pass is that it has every console from Xbox moving back. And so that's what we want from Nintendo Switch. We want NSO to mimic Game Pass in the way that we have all other consoles. I mean, when I mean every other console, I mean, of course, every console before the Switch. And if the next console comes, of course, that next gen system will be backwards compatible with the Nintendo Switch. But then everything back from the Wii U, 3DS, and looking back could move something of move to a place like a Game Pass, but for Nintendo, right? So we still have access to all those games all the way back to the NES, up to the Wii U and 3DS, right? So if Nintendo, let's say if Game Pass, if Xbox were if Microsoft were the owner of Nintendo games, right, of Nintendo, then you would see every game from Wii U and 3DS moving back to the NES on Game Pass, right? It was like no question. That's one of the things they hit on, the backwards compatibility. And to be honest, I have to be honest, as a Nintendo fan, I own it. I also own a Xbox Series X, and I have my Xbox Series S on this TV right here. I have to tell you that Xbox, when it comes to backwards compatibility, they're the best. They are truly the best when it comes to backwards compatibility. They've had it since day one, no question about it. You log into your account, you'll still have access to your prior games, and plus they put all additional games on Game Pass. And so right now they are peak backwards compatibility when it comes to Xbox. I love Xbox because of that, right? The next thing is that only 4 community-driven games will be on other platforms. Okay, so if Hi-Fi Rush was one of the first rumored games to be on other platforms, then Hi-Fi Rush has a big chance of going multi-platform. Now, just think about any other 3 games that are community-driven, right? And so when it comes to community-driven games, they mentioned Minecraft and they mentioned Call of Duty. These games are community-driven games. And so community-driven games are the ones who are going to be added to other platforms. Games that have been only first-party, community games that have only been first-party games will be added to other platforms, but only 4 of them. But I think this is only the beginning. This is only the beginning of those 4. I think they're going to be added more. Like, I think Halo, isn't Halo another community-driven game? Right? Halo is another one. Let's see here. Blippity blur. By the way, Mike, I recommend you try out a game called Dave the Driver. That's awesome. Let's see here. So any other community-driven game that let's see here. Let's go ahead and Call of Duty for Switch. Where is it? Or it's not time to announce it yet. Call of Duty for Nintendo Switch. I mean, they've already have a contract for Call of Duty for 10 years coming to Nintendo consoles, right? I'm guessing, including Nintendo Switch, right? But they haven't released it just yet. They haven't announced it just yet. I'm guessing that in June, we'll hear about the first Call of Duty game coming to Nintendo platforms. We don't know yet whether it's going to be to Switch 2 or to the Switch, but the contract states that they signed a contract with Nintendo for 10 years to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo platforms. This does not mean the Nintendo Switch. This could mean that it starts with the Switch 2, right? They hinted at that, not they hinted, they actually mentioned they have a big event happening in June. Okay. And yeah, what happens in June? June is the month of all conventions and game shows and stuff like that. So in June, we might hear more about what games are coming to Nintendo Switch out of these 4 community games. So Call of Duty could be one of them, but we already knew about Call of Duty coming to Switch. Announcement wise, I'm pretty sure they're gonna make it in June. Make it in June. All right, let's see here. Let's see if we have any other questions, right? If you guys have any other questions, make sure that you first thing is a question, right? And of course you want to add my Odyssey, that way I can actually let you know right here. But will we hear anything about Nintendo with High Rush, right? Remember this game was one of the leaks, one of the rumors out there. I didn't see them specifically mention the game, but they did mention 4 community-driven games that are first-party games for Xbox will be now coming to other platforms, which is a big thing, right? One other thing that I got from this event, let's see here. Game Pass will stay on Nintendo. I'm sorry, Game Pass will stay on Xbox, right? But not only Xbox, but also mobile games and TVs, right? We have TVs from I think Samsung TVs from 2022 and up. You can install Game Pass and stream games to the actual TV. Now we have some TVs now from, I think they're Samsung TVs, that when you buy a TV, they actually give you an Xbox controller for free, because those TVs are compatible with Game Pass. So far, Game Pass is not coming to PlayStation. Game Pass is not coming to Nintendo Switch, but Game Pass will be available on Xbox consoles and mobile devices and TVs, some TVs. So if you're interested in Game Pass, right, and you want to kill 2 birds with one stone, you can go ahead and just buy a TV, right? And that TV, make sure it's compatible with Game Pass. Those TVs that are compatible with Game Pass will have a controller with them. You can actually buy them together. And mobile devices, right? If you have a mobile device right now, you can actually sign up for Game Pass, and there's some games they are available via Game Pass on your mobile device. You would have to just buy maybe like a little clip for your phone, and you can actually use your own Xbox controller. You can use your Nintendo Switch controller. You can use your PlayStation controller, whatever controller you have. You can use it on your mobile phone and use Game Pass as well. So Game Pass is not just limited to consoles. It's just not coming to Switch or PlayStation, right? Let's see here. What else did we kind of see here? Yeah, biggest publisher. They are the biggest publisher on Switch, PlayStation, and mobile device because of Minecraft, right? Minecraft is a huge game. And so it's one of the biggest games out there for the community. And with the addition of Call of Duty now, coming to other platforms, it's another big one. And if Hi-Fi Rush comes over to another big community game, Halo could be another big community game that is first party and goes to third party as well. So we can maybe hopefully count on that one. And then I can't think about any other community game that's from Microsoft. It could be a racing game, could be also maybe one of those Horizon games that they have that are third party games. But what's up, E-Prime? What's going on? Like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Yep, and basically this is the big takeaway from here. They are not giving up. They're not giving up on making systems. In fact, they just dropped some news here that I hope everybody caught up with it. Right now, if you look at the banner at the banner, the end. What does it say towards the end? New hardware coming this holiday. They just dropped this little link here. New hardware for Xbox coming this holiday season. All right. So they are launching new hardware this holiday season. It could be the PlayStation, Xbox Series X Pro, right? I know PlayStation is about to launch their Pro version of the PlayStation 5. And so Xbox right here, look, new hardware coming this season. That's exactly what was stated there. I'm not sure if anybody caught up with it, but that's just confirmation, of course, that Xbox has not given up on their own hardware. They actually said that to get the best experience with Xbox, you will get it on their hardware because they have Xbox Game Pass, they the updates, and of course, whatever that new hardware is, who knows what it is? It could be the Xbox Xbox Series X Pro. It could be a VR headset. It could be something I don't know, something mobile, because right now there is a rumor that Xbox is also working on a mobile device, just like the PlayStation Portal, right? But hopefully better than that. And so with that, they actually mentioned, yeah, we're not done with Xbox consoles. When it comes to what it affects Nintendo Switch, basically the only thing that right now it affects with Nintendo Switch is that, in a positive way, is that these 4 games are coming to Switch as well. It's multi-platform, these games, so they're going to be available on Xbox, PlayStation, and of course Nintendo Switch. Let's see here. Do you think gamers were overreacting with the whole Xbox third party? Yes, I do. I do think they were overreacting. Phil Spencer took the mic right away. That's why he wanted to go ahead at the beginning and go over those rumors and say, you know what? No, we're not going third party. We're not going to stop making consoles. We're not going to take Game Pass all over the place. Nope. We are only focusing on just 4 games, and these 4 games are community-driven games, which makes perfect sense because in order to have the biggest community like Minecraft, you have to be multi-platform, right? It doesn't make sense for a community game to be a single platform, right? With the exception of some Nintendo games, because Nintendo, I think, is the only company that will never go third party. Like they will never have a Zelda game on any other platform, a Mario game on any other platform, a Splatoon game on any other platform. I think Nintendo is the one that's going to stay kind of like holding on to their games. And I think that kind of speaks to Nintendo's success, right? And so another thing that I mentioned here and I saw is that they are kind of trying to push for other consoles to also throw in some games to third party, throw in some first party games on other platforms. And that's something that I doubt Nintendo will ever do. Nintendo will never take any of their first party games and go third party. If they go third party with any of the Nintendo developed games, they will probably develop a game specifically just for that, to go third party with it. They will never take any of their current franchises and go third party with them. They'll always be exclusively on a Nintendo console. And that's the way it is. I compare it to Apple. Apple will never have iOS on any other phone, like the software, the iOS software on any other phone. They'll only make iOS specifically for Apple devices, and that's how Nintendo works. Nintendo is very guarded with their first party games because that's how they make their money. That's where they grow and prosper, right? And the thing is that some companies are more successful in having first party games to themselves than others are, right? And so those are the takeaways. If you just made it to the stream, I have the biggest takeaways going down right here on the ticker below. These are the bigger points of today's podcast going down below. First, they're not going multi-platform. It's just 4 games they're like Minecraft. They're multiplayer games that they weren't a big community. They're community games. So just 4 community-driven games are coming to other platforms, other consoles. They're not going third party. Game Pass stays exclusive to Xbox, right? And only online community games will go on multiple platforms. But they also hinted that this holiday season they would have new hardware, right? So this could be a pro version of the Xbox, or this could be that mobile console that is rumored. So Nintendo Switch will have a little bit more competition, right? The Switch 2 will have a little bit more competition if Xbox goes into the mobile round as well, right? Just like PlayStation tried. I don't think that the portable is a good enough system to compete against Nintendo Switch 2, but they're on their way there too, right? Because there's also rumors that PlayStation is also working on bringing back the Vita in a good way. PlayStation kind of had the Vita, right, along with their system, just like Nintendo always had their 3DS, 3D, Game Boy, all these games alongside their consoles, right? So I think Nintendo is the only system that has actually perfected and kind of realize their full potential of going both mobile and console, right? So we have the Switch, which you can play on the go. We have the Switch you can play on your TV, and so I think that other platforms are just starting to pick up, right? That this is a big form factor, and eventually everybody will have their own system that you can take on the go and play at home at the same time. It's not a patented thing only by Nintendo. Nintendo has just done it the most successfully out of any other gaming service, right? Let's see here. Yep, it says here, nobody will beat Nintendo with the hybrid system, both home and portable. Yeah, I believe that. I believe eventually other platforms will catch up and go and have their own portable and home console eventually, because again, Nintendo doesn't own the concept. They just perfected it and made it better and made it famous, and it's a success, right? Eventually this will happen, but I think that by that point Nintendo will be so high up there when it comes to their first party games that nobody can catch up, right? Nintendo is all about their first party games, and although Xbox, I applaud them for opening up and bringing some first party games to other console, Nintendo, on the other hand, they will never do that. Nintendo is very guarded with their IPs. They guard these IPs with their life. And instead of going multi-platform, Nintendo is making money on their IPs by reaching other audiences through what? Through not only video games, but TV shows, movies, and theme parks. Nintendo has already they've ascended to another level when it comes to the first party IPs. And I'm pretty sure that Xbox and PlayStation would want to have that type of ascension when it comes to the first party, right? But sadly, they haven't really been as faithful to their first party games as Nintendo has, right? Nintendo has really banked on the experience that they've had their first party games for a longer period of time, and they maintain their first party games faithfully. You're going to get another Mario game. Nintendo will never get rid of Mario. You're going to get another Zelda game. Nintendo will never get rid of Zelda. You're going to get another Pokemon game. Nintendo and the Pokemon Company will never get rid of Pokemon, right? But when it comes to other platforms and their first party games, they haven't been as faithful to those first party games, as Nintendo have been to theirs. It's like they issue a game, and it's very unknown whether you get another game and stuff like that, and another one, and so they haven't really gotten attached. Like, who is the mascot for Xbox? Who is a mascot for PlayStation? Right? It's very important. Although people say, "Oh, every team, every sports team has a mascot that identifies them, has a logo that identifies them, they all have their own identity, right?" And so Nintendo has they have their main logo, they have their main mascot, they have their own identity, and that's why Nintendo fans are just so big, right? It's easy to own a Nintendo. You know what you're gonna get, right? You didn't play the last Nintendo Super Mario. you know there's another one coming. You didn't play the last Tears of the Kingdom, or you didn't like it, right? Let's say let's say I loved it, but let's say, for example, I didn't like Tears of the Kingdom. There is another Zelda game coming around the corner in a couple of years that you might like better, right? And so that's where I see Nintendo coming ahead, is that they're faithful to their identity, they're faithful to their first party games, and they have built an audience over time with these first party games by being faithful to them, by continuing to grow and to harness them. Now, Xbox's mistake has been buying so many franchises and not producing games for them, right? They've been firing a lot of people and really not, like Banjo-Kazooie, they own it, right? There's a lot of first party games from Xbox now that they own, that they could say, hey, guess what? We're working on a brand new Banjo-Kazooie game. A brand new, top of the line Banjo-Kazooie game is on its way. Have we heard that? No, we have not. They own it. It's their first party games. They can bank on that because Banjo-Kazooie is a big franchise. It's a really good franchise that a lot of fans will love to see bring to present consoles, right? With new enemies, bigger worlds, bigger experiences, right? It's a really good platform that I would love to see also on Switch, right? And so there are other really cool games. There's that collection, that retro collection that they also own, that they can continue to bank on. There's so many things that they own that they can kind of harness and really start, feeding to us and just making it better and better and better, like Nintendo has done with their first party games. But sadly, they have not, right? And if we go over to PlayStation, do you know who is PlayStation's kind of mascot? Do you know which first party games are PlayStation's, and that can compare, for example, like a Mario or Zelda that have been there from the very beginning, and they have continued to kind of build upon from the very, very beginning on PlayStation 1, right? So it's important for consoles brand to have an identity, right? Because when you have an identity and you're consistent with that identity, you build brand recognition, you build a bigger audience and a more faithful audience. And let's see here. Yeah, right here, I agree with this. With Banjo-Kazooie, they could Mario Odyssey style the game and make big money. Of course they can. They can take that game into the stratosphere and make it an Xbox exclusive that would make me want to buy an Xbox just to play that brand new Banjo-Kazooie, right? And so I think that they need somebody in their headquarters with a mind just like that. Say, you know what? Let's take the best first party IPs, like the ones that we own here in each level. Xbox has the ability to be better than Nintendo because they own more IPs, because of all these developer companies they have purchased, so they can literally reach people at every level. Let's say family friendly people, right? We have a whole bunch of games that are family friendly, and then we have the mid, and then we have the adult category with games that, of course, are meant more for adults, right? And so they can take, let's say, 3 to 4 games here and really polish them and continue to build upon them. In this middle section, they can do the very same thing with teens to adults, of course, and take 4 platforms or IPs here and continue to build upon them. And then they can take 4 platforms in the adult category with adult content, and build upon them and create a really great first party. They can actually add more first party games. They're in that position. I don't know why they're not doing it, but I think that's what makes Nintendo such a successful console that everybody wants, right? Nintendo has been selling for the past 2 years their second and third console per family. That's crazy. You know what I mean? Nintendo is like, okay, we've already kind of mass, we're out there already. We have 139 million units sold. 139 million units sold, right? We're just shy away. We're about 12 to 13 million consoles away from being number one out of all consoles, PlayStation and DS, right? PlayStation 2 and DS. And so what Nintendo is doing is building upon their own IPs, right? That gives you the satisfaction of knowing, okay, I didn't like this Mario too much. I didn't like Mario Wonder too much, but that's not going to be the last side-scrolling Mario game that Nintendo will do. There's going to be more, right? I can expect more, and Nintendo has done such a great job at building a faithful customer fan base with their first-party games, and so they don't need to go third-party. What they've done is that they've taken these first-party games into the stratosphere. Super Nintendo World, the Mario movie, Donkey Kong Country. I think it just opened in Japan, the park, right? We also have the Legend of Zelda live action movie coming soon, right? We also have Donkey Kong, of course. There's that animated Donkey Kong that's rumored to be by Illumination. We know it's coming because the character is already done. It has its voiceover. We saw it in the Super Mario movie. We know that Donkey Kong is now within the Mario universe. So I do expect to see Mario in the Donkey Kong movie. I do expect to see Princess Peach in the Donkey Kong movie as well, just like Donkey Kong was part of the Mario movie. And of course, Nintendo has just elevated and taken their games, their first-party games, into the atmosphere because of how faithful they were to their games from the very beginning. Nintendo never gave up, even with the Wii U. Okay, with the Wii U, Nintendo had sadly they had a console that did not sell as well. I think it was like 13 million consoles in 5 years, which is insane. You know, Nintendo just sold 15 million in 1 year from the Switch. So they sold 13 million from the console in its lifetime. And Nintendo still did not give up on their IPs. They did not give up on their consoles. They continued to push forward and say, you know what? Okay, we dropped the ball here. Didn't do well. What's next? Let's continue to push forward our IPs. Let's continue to push forward our games because we're not done. We're not over. This is not going to pull us down. Yeah, we had a Wii U debacle and it didn't do so great. Maybe the promotion, maybe the name, whatever it was. But this is not going to bring us down. We're not going to go third party. We're not going to take our games and do this and that. No, we're going to build a next console. And guess what? We're going to be more successful than that, you know? So, yeah, the games are always, right here. Perfect right here. Prizzy Honey said the games are always well balanced. And you are 100% right. Yeah, the games are always well balanced. Says we now need Donkey Kong. Yeah. I think this is coming from the next gen system. It's coming for sure. I love that little picture you have here. That's awesome. That's awesome. But yeah, my friends, let me know what you guys think about this whole thing. I'm happy that Xbox is not going third party. I'm happy that it's just for community driven games. It's very common. It's very easy. It's like Fall Guys was only on PlayStation for just a little bit, right? And then they went multi-platform. That's basically what's happening. Fall Guys used to be only on PlayStation for a while, right? And mobile, I think. I'm not sure if mobile, I can't remember. But then they went multi-platform. They put Fall Guys on Switch and on Xbox, and they went multi-platform. That's everything that's happening right now. Same thing is happening. Multi-platform games, only 4 of them, and only community-driven games, which makes sense because that'll only grow the community, right? And so that's the biggest takeaway. They did hint at a new hardware coming this holiday season, and I think it's a win for Xbox. I think it's a win for Nintendo as well for us to get these 4 multi-platform games. Right? Is this better to play on Switch as well? And let's see here. Woo! Too much going on today. Joycey J, what's up, Joycey? Going on today. Hey, Mike. I know I'm late. You're good. You're good. You're good, Jesse. I have all the takeaways down. You see right here in this thing going on here. These were the takeaways for today's presentation when it comes to what Xbox actually mentioned, right? And it's good news to me. It's good news. You know, it's good. It's very good news. Let's see here. Hey, how is your day going? Are you excited for Mario versus Donkey Kong? Yes. Tomorrow is launch day. It's launch day. I'm gonna try to see if I can stream the game tomorrow. if I can. If you guys want to see it, because I know some people don't want to see the stream for the game because they want to get themselves no spoilers and stuff. But yeah, I also have my review of the game that I want to put out hopefully by next week. It's not a big game. It's not a huge game. I can play it in 1 week. Give you guys my review next week. But it's great news that Xbox is not going third party. They're staying first party. Just 4 community-driven games are coming to other platforms. Hi-Fi Rush is one of them that they did not mention by name, but it's already out there. It's leaked. And of course, other multi-platform, multi-community games that make sense for Xbox. None of the first-party games that Xbox owns that are just solo games are going multi-platforms. They did confirm that what's that game's name? The space. I forgot, my guy. My head is crazy. They're that first party game they just launched. I can't remember the Galaxy something space ship something. I'm having a brain fart right now. But that game is not going multi-platform. Somebody in the chat throw me a what do you call that, a life draft rafting, because I'm drowning here. But yeah, that game is not going multi-platform. That game is staying exclusive to Starfield. Starfield is not going multi-platform. That's staying first party, and it's a big game for Xbox. They're not gonna stop making consoles. Actually, they dropped a hint that this holiday season, new hardware is coming. It's right there, like right there. New hardware coming this holiday season. So that's basically every takeaway from today's presentation. It was fun to hear from them, right? It's we as a gaming community, we cover mostly Nintendo, but we love every other console. We're not that type of community that like, oh no, Nintendo is better than Xbox or PlayStation. No, we embrace every console. We embrace the gaming community as a whole, and we love to cover other news. Actually, I got some major news for you guys. I have some major channel news coming up in a future live stream that I'm going to schedule for all of you, because things are changing here at the channel. As you see, I'm working on my set right there. You see that? You see my chair, and that's the desk right there. That's my unboxing desk. I'm actually working on kind of bettering the set here. There's my camera, the new camera, new lighting. There's more cameras over here. We have now 1, 2, 3. We have 4 cameras in the studio. So we're gonna make this. We're gonna make. I want to tell you guys. I really want to tell you guys what I'm working on, but I can't just yet. It's exciting, and it's gonna be awesome. But I can't tell you just yet because I want to do a reveal of what's coming for the channel, which is gonna be awesome. We have a question here. Assuming Call of Duty and Hi-Fi Rush are 2 of the 4 games going cross-platform, what are your other predictions? Halo has been a franchise. They actually mentioned that there will not be brand new IPs, the brand new ones. It'll be IPs that have been around for a long time. That itself puts Halo in the spotlight, because Halo Infinite has been an IP that have been around for more than a year. Okay, it's been around for more than a year, and they want to continue to grow. So I see Halo Infinite going multi-platform just because Phil said it. He said, I'm not bringing over our brand new IPs. We're bringing IPs, multiplayer IPs that have been around for a long time. He didn't want to mention their IPs, right? But then again, Hi-Fi Rush is a brand new IP. It has been around for a while, so I guess it qualifies. But yeah, Halo is another one that I see potentially making to Nintendo Switch. Let me see here if I can find another one. When it comes to their first party IPs, let's see here. So we have Halo, Call of Duty, Hi-Fi. See here. Okay. So Halo, Call of Duty, Halo, Gears. Gears is another one that could go multi-platform, right? So Gears of War, Gears is one that's been with Nintendo with Xbox from the very beginning. So that could, I think those could actually be the four because they've been around for a while, and Phil Spencer did say that the ones they were considering have been around for a long time with Xbox, right? Not sure if he was focusing on Horizon, Forza, those are first party games that also have multiplayer, but not sure if they're gonna keep Forza as a first party. I doubt it. I think Forza is I think it's pretty new when it comes to games that have not been from the very beginning. I think Forza came with the Xbox One, right? And so Gears is one of them that has been. Let's see here. I'm looking at other games that are exclusively over on. Yeah, I think that's it. I think those are my picks. So Hi-Fi Rush. We have excuse me. Hi-Fi Rush. We have hopefully Halo Infinite. We have Call of Duty. And yeah, that's it. Halo Infinite, Gears, and Hi-Fi Rush and Call of Duty. Those are my four picks. Those are my four picks that I think would be great to have on other consoles. Not sure how that will affect their games, but those are my four picks that could come to Nintendo Switch and Xbox, and I think will be awesome to have Halo Infinite, 8 Halo games, and Hi-Fi, and Gears of War, and yeah, Call of Duty. So those are big multiplayer games that depend on a big community, and by bringing these games to other platforms, it's Xbox win. It's Xbox game to win because they are big multiplayer driven communities that could literally triple its size. Okay, imagine bringing Call of Duty, of course, bringing Halo already with a big community over to the 150 million consoles sold on Nintendo Switch, right? This big community. I'm pretty sure that out of 150 million people, at least 50 million would jump on Halo, right? And same thing for these other consoles. So I feel like those two could be they could be coming to multi-platform. That's up to them at the end. But yeah, let's see here. Yep, he did mention. He mentioned that there would be an announcement from those developers coming not too far from now. I wonder if he is hinting at a closer for a direct. So yeah, basically, it says for those developers. Yeah. He also did mention that they're getting a presentation in June, right? There's a bigger presentation happening in June. I mean, they do have a presentation in June. They're like Nintendo, where they have one at the beginning, one in the middle, and one towards the end of the year. And so yeah, they're getting one in June. But when it comes to these four games, yeah, you are right, Gary. There could be something coming sooner in regards to these four games and the developers. So we could find out sooner than later when these games are coming to Switch, which is a good call out, very good call out, because I didn't see that part. Let's see here. Let's see here. Famitsu is claiming that the four mystery games are Hi-Fi Rush, Pen Minute, Sea of Thieves, and Grounded. So Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment, Sea of Thieves, and Grounded. Again, nothing is confirmed until Xbox themselves. They actually share that information. Let's see here. Let me go see here. Grounded. Okay, so Grounded is a survival action adventure video game developed by Obsidian Entertainment and published by Xbox Studios. It was released for Windows and Xbox One in early access in 2020. It's fairly okay. So, and not sure if Grounded is a big enough multiplayer game like Halo or Gears? Sea of Thieves. Okay, let's look at it. Let's take a look at Sea of Thieves is a 2018 action adventure game developed by Rare and published by Microsoft Studios. The game was released in March 2018 for Windows and Xbox One. It was one of the earliest first-party games released on Xbox Game Pass subscribers. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense in the way that these games need the push. Don't know how successful they will be on Nintendo Switch on other platforms. I don't think they would be as successful as them bringing a game like Halo Infinite and Gears, right? Or like Call of Duty. But it's family boards. It's a hit or miss. So, grain of salt, grain of salt with that information. So, thank you for sharing, Sam. Appreciate it. Let's see here. What if Nintendo announces the Direct after Peach game is released? That I wouldn't rule it out just because we are in uncharted territory. I have no clue what Nintendo is doing at all. It just don't know. But I don't know what Nintendo is doing because normally during the past 4 years or 5, 6, 7 years, other than 2020, Nintendo has had a Direct first or second week of February. This is the first time, without counting 2020, right? I would say without counting 2020 or 2021, just because it that kind of really shifted Nintendo's schedule because of world conditions. Without counting those years, Nintendo has always had a Direct in February, first, second week of February. Let's say for the past 3 years. 3 years it's been in February, June, and September. And so because this is the Twitch 2 year, it's a transition year, Nintendo might not have a lot to announce. We can get a Direct Mini, partner showcase, full Direct, who knows? But it could also be next week. Maybe we'll get an announcement for any of the 4 games that Xbox was announcing today in that Nintendo Direct. So it could be connected. Maybe Nintendo has a presentation, but they wanted to wait for Xbox to kind of issue this thing here in order for them to actually go ahead and confirm the games that are coming to Nintendo Switch from these developers, right? Yeah, that kind of makes sense because that goes in line with what Gary said. Let me see if this is the same one. He mentioned that there will be an announcement from those developers coming not too far from now. Okay, so this kind of makes sense that there could be a Nintendo Direct after that because these developers will be a part of that set Nintendo Direct. Well, they will officially announce games like Hi-Fi Rush and whatever other game Xbox is throwing out this way in that Nintendo Direct. So that would actually warrant a move for a Nintendo Direct. Maybe, Xbox needed to throw this out there before, make it clear before Nintendo issues the Direct. And I believe Nintendo would do that. There's a lot of people out there saying Nintendo will never move a Direct for Xbox. I think they will. They have a great relationship, right? And if Xbox is bringing some of their major games to Nintendo, and it only benefit Nintendo players and Xbox as well. They are willing to move a presentation that has already been recorded. It's been recorded. I think it's already done. They just have to schedule it and air it, right? And so they would actually say, you know what? Let's go ahead and reschedule this presentation, this Nintendo Direct to next week or the following week, in order to allow Xbox to just kind of issue this statement so that people have a better understanding when they do see these announcements on Nintendo Switch. Because what do you think would have happened if Xbox not given this presentation and let us know that no, they're not going third party, but then we have a Nintendo Direct with 4 games from Xbox, 4 exclusive first party games? Then the community will go nuts. Oh no, Xbox is going third party. They're going third party. That's what would have happened, right? That's what would have happened if Xbox would have not done this presentation to clarify before a Nintendo Direct that could potentially announce 4 first-party Xbox games, community-driven games, coming to Nintendo Switch. So it does kind of make sense that Nintendo and Xbox will communicate with each other and say, you know what, let's clarify this first before you do your presentation. That way, when people see your presentation, they have a better picture of what's going on and they don't assume anything. Because at the end, when people assume and the community goes wild, that really does affect Xbox, right? It affects shareholders' minds. It affects the price for the stocks. It affects the community. People get upset and they rant and they say a lot. And so this was really warranted in order for us to actually get that presentation with those Nintendo Switch announcements. And I'm glad that you guys brought it up between Gary, let's see here, Gary and Santendo. You guys kind of brought up these 2 really good topics here that really makes us, the rest of the community, kind of think, hey, this actually does make sense, right? It actually does make sense that Nintendo would delay a little bit their presentation, knowing that they were going to release Xbox first-party games, but before, Xbox needed to clarify that they are not going first-party, that this is just these 4 games that they're planning to share with PlayStation and Nintendo, because if they didn't issue this, the community will go wild and you know, so it does make sense. It does make perfect sense, and let's see what happens. You know, we just have to wait and see what happens, whether Nintendo will issue a third-party presentation today, or well, maybe not today, maybe next week. I would say next week or the following. I would not rule it out because of those comments, which makes really good sense. Okay, so I don't rule it out, Nintendo having a Direct next week, the 3rd week of the month. I don't rule it out at all. And then having these games show up in that Nintendo and then in Nintendo Direct. You know? Let's see here. I think Nintendo does need to make a Direct soon, since Peach is the only game with the whole release day. Yeah, you're right. I don't see a partner showcase. I see more like a Direct mini, because a partner showcase only talks about third-party games. A Direct mini is a combination. It's like a Direct, but it's smaller, right? Smaller. It's a combination of first-party games and third-party games in a smaller form factor, 20 minutes. A full Direct is 40 minutes. A Nintendo Direct mini is 20 minutes of gameplay, right? Partner showcase is also about 40 to 30 minutes of just third-party. So what I see happening is more like a Direct mini. That way they can add Paper Mario and Luigi's Mansion, even if those are the only first-party games we hear from in that Direct mini. It makes it a Direct mini that we have those 2 first-party games announced in that specific Direct mini. So next week we'll find out. We'll see. This is all speculation. This is all us kind of putting things together. What makes sense? What doesn't make sense? Why is Nintendo doing what they do? But it does make sense that they push the Direct in order for Xbox to clarify what they're doing before Nintendo issues their announcements for Xbox games coming to Switch, just so that us that community have a better understanding of what's going on. So it makes very good sense. Very, very good sense. So thank you, chat. You guys have been great. You guys are on top of things. You guys see things that I missed to catch. If you are just here, we have all this right here. This is the entire what happened today, the presentation for Xbox, and yeah, that's gonna do it for today for the live stream today. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are amazing. I'll stay tuned for a very special big announcement from the channel. We have new sponsors. I have a new clothing sponsors. You will see me wear different types of really cool t-shirts. They're on the way here, and they're gonna be part of the new show that's coming up soon. It's gonna be fun. And yeah, a lot of really cool stuff happening on the channel. Stay tuned for a major announcement. Things are changing for the better, and I can't wait to share more information with all of you. Okay, I might share it with the members first, because members get first view of things. So the members on the channel, if you would love to become a member and show your support for the Odyssey, you can do it for as low as 99 cents. You get a whole bunch of access to a lot of videos. You get skits. You get of course all the emojis. You get your name highlighted. After a month of becoming a member, the second month you go into mod mode, and then moving forward, you get to enjoy all the things that perks that members currently use. So yeah, I invite you to become a member of the channel and support the Odyssey. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all. You guys are amazing. Never give up. Journey on. Peace. The balloons blow. Peace with the balloons.